Go back to the show. Let's go. Line number one. Here we go. Independent member of the House, Mount Pearl, Southlands, Paul Lane. Paul, you're on the air.
Good morning, Paddy. How are you doing this morning?
Very well this morning. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Paddy, I just wanted to, bring some information to light as it relates to our education system. And I attended a meeting last night of parents in a school in my district, and basically these parents had been notified that next year the French immersion class that they were going to see some changes, and there was some significant changes in the sense that one of the French immersion classes were going to be multi-grade, 5 and 6, which is the first time that's ever happened in that particular school. But in addition to that, in order to make the numbers work, they were going to see class sizes. Like in one case, there was a class that had 18 students. Next year would have 28 students. So it's a huge increase in class size. Now, this concept, I suppose, is not new. It's really something that came about, post-budget 2016, and I think that was the first time we've seen the multi-grade classes apply. And, of course, there was, I think, some schools this year that saw it, and it's going to be sporadic, and nobody is going to know when it's going to impact them. Like in this case, the French immersion parents were called into the meeting and told about it because it was the French immersion that was going to be impacted this year. Now, they may not be impacted the following year, and maybe it'll be an English class, maybe it'll be no class. But it all comes down to an allocation formula, which is going to see on any given random time multi-grade, potentially, and in addition to that, class size is increasing significantly based on the student enrollment on any given year.
The student enrollment, that's how we use it to formulate how many teachers are in the system, period.
Correct.
So
Correct.
we did away with the 15 positions this year because of student enrollment, and all the while not even considering or discussing the fact that those positions were lost based on student enrollment when we've got these soft caps on class sizes, which have been extended in many areas, and the introduction of multi-grade classrooms and everything else that goes inside that conversation. So this is all... It all smells like steps backwards to me.
Yes.
And I have a lot of friends in the school system as administrators and teachers. And of course, I have students at home in a neighborhood full of kids who are in school. They're all pretty worried about how this is proceeding. Class sizes, and it gets even more complicated when we talk about inclusive education.
Yes.
All these things, the complicating factors in bigger classes without the required resources is making things unmanageable for teachers. And consequently, not doing the best we can for the student.
No, you're absolutely right, Paddy. And just to give an example for people so they understand exactly what I'm talking about, I'm just going to just use a random example. Let's just say if last year we had 65 children for grade 5 in a particular school, okay? They would have looked at it and they would have said, okay, well, 65, we're going to go 22, 22, 21, okay? Even though the class cap, now the Minister of Education will come on and he'll say our soft cap is 28 students, and that hasn't changed, and that's true. But based on a cap size of 28, which could go even as high as 30, if you had 65 students, there would be no way that you could fit them in 2 classrooms, because if you took 65, divided in half, you'd have 32 and 33. So they couldn't put those in students in 2 classes. They were required 3 classes. So what they would have done was 22, 22, 21. What they're doing now, if they had that same 65, is they're saying we're going to max out the classes at 28 and 28, and then we're going to take the 9 kids that are left over, and we're going to throw them in with, say, 9 left over in a higher grade and make a multi-year class, multi-grade class. So what you're seeing, like I said, is multi-grade, but in addition to that, you're seeing classes that were at numbers like 21 or 22 are now going to be maxed out at 28, and they could even go as high as 30. I'm told, because it's a soft cap.
Yeah, we'll
so
see.
This is significant.
Well, of course it is, and that's the distinct problem with a soft cap, because it gives you all the available wiggle room to break the cap.
Yep.
So I don't know how this is going to play out. I know the NLTA, its members, and students and their families are all pretty frustrated here.
Yep.
And things don't seem to be going as well as they need to be with such a critical portfolio as education. Plus, you know, I hear the minister defend this comprehensive library report. He's the only one who thinks it. It doesn't seem to be comprehensive to me, and the recommendations are fairly brain dead. Well, that's not fair. They're fairly plain, and I don't know if we had to spend any money to come up with that end result. But then we have even further complicating factors insofar as infrastructure in school. And where's that comprehensive review of curriculum and the math curriculum and all these things that were such big pledges that will have meaningful impact? I don't see any of it. And I mean, it's getting very quickly, this can snowball into a bigger problem than it needs to be.
It absolutely is. We have so many problems in our education system, and you know, my position from day one, even on the budget, was that, you know, I was in favor in principle of the concept of full-day kindergarten. I think it's a good thing in principle. That's just my opinion, and I'm no expert. But I felt that we should not be proceeding with that program if we did not have the resources and the finance and so on to make sure that we're taking care of what we got now. And that was a concern, and of course that's even added to the overcrowding issues, you know, in the schools. But, you know, we really do have to figure this out. But I just want to put that out there because even though, like in this particular case, there was only one group of parents, i.e. French immersion, that got called to this meeting and notified of this. This could happen to any parent on any given year because it's not like, you know, and I just wanted to talk about this as well. Like they were trying to sell some of the benefits of multi-grade classrooms, okay? And from a social interaction side with, you know, younger kids with older kids, they're saying that's a good thing, and that may very well be. Curriculum, I'm not quite sure. They wouldn't say it was better. They said it was no more harmful or, you know, there was no negative impact, right? So that doesn't mean it's better. It means it's not, you know, no negative impact. But, you know, when they start comparing other countries and stuff that are doing this. But, you know, if you have a multi-grade system in place in your schooling system overall and everybody is multi-grading, then you have the curriculum set up in such a way that it accommodates multi-grading. You have the classrooms set up in such a way. The teachers are trained and have the expertise to be able to carry it in such a way. That's one scenario. It's quite another to say that we're going to have multi-grading in this school for one class this year. Next year we may not have any multi-grading, and then 2 years' time we might have to have it for one other class without having the expertise, without having the setup and so on. We're just simply doing it to eliminate one teaching position to save a few bucks. That's really what we're doing.
That's about the size of it. No argument here. I'm going to see if I can find out firm numbers on what's going to happen here, but you're not the first person who's brought this concern to our attention.
Yeah.
And we'll keep going. I do appreciate your call this morning, Paul. Take it easy.
Thank you, Paddy. All the very best.